Hello, John.
Hello, Oliver.
Today we're going to talk about abortion. Since the abortion referendum in Ireland, which was very divisive, there's been a lot of abortions carried out, and you're going to talk about that, the figures and so on.
That's right. The figures are available for 2019 from January 2019 to December, the end of December 2019. The number of abortions in Ireland, in the Republic of Ireland, in that year when it commenced, the number that have been killed by abortion are the number 6666. That's 6,666. That number is the number of the beast, being Satan. Not that the children are in that area. Those children are made in the image of likeness of God, have been suffered pain before they were killed, and they would be in heaven because they're made in the image of likeness of God. They would be in heaven with all the angels and saints. It's the people that inflicted this evil of society. It should give them pause to contemplate what they have inflicted. In Ireland, the government, the Fine Gael government, and with the aid of the political opposition in the Dáil, and of course the media, the main media being the RTE, state broadcaster, and print media, and indeed the independent radio stations, all supported this killing of babies, which they called abortion, as being a kind of to safeguard the health of women. A lie, if you like, because but this is the way it was presented, and there was no opposition that had been aired years before when the same objective was sought in 1983, and because there was a debate under the leader of Fianna Fáil, Charlie Haughey, who got a terrible press most of the time, but they did not a good. Because there was a debate, the business of trying to inflict abortion with the support of the media and the Fine Gael party at the time, led by Dr. Gareth Fitzgerald, was defeated 2-1. So life from conception to natural death, and life in all its forms was protected. Because in some countries, not alone have you got abortion, but you have euthanasia, which is people that are getting old and have no spiritual foundation for their lives and wish to have the state to assist them to sort of end their lives. That's it, happening in a lot of states. And also then in some states, assisted suicide, which is another form of murder, sanctioned by the law. Law doesn't make anything right. The same as in this country, the number of abortions in 2019 at 6,666 is tantamount to the sort of what we call it, the league with the evil, which is more or less satanic. So people that voted for such evil, and the people that inflicted such evil, the government and politicians and media, would need to repent if they were to sort of deal with this issue. They cannot justify it. And if it wasn't for the pro-life movement and people of that caliber, concerned people of goodwill and people that have continued to object to this evil and look for a second referendum, one prays and hopes and really agitates for such an event to occur, and for the politicians that are pro-life in the Dáil, which would be the majority, I would think, of the Fianna Fáil party, and those members that lost their seats, 16 of them, would have been pro-life, because the Fianna Fáil party as a whole voted 90% pro-life, which wasn't carried out by the leadership of that party under Micheál Martin. So there's quite a number of people, I would think, in the Dáil, and if they could come together to form a party, a pro-life party, if you like, and to agitate for the second referendum for these evils that was inflicted on this country, which was formerly a marvellous Catholic country in my time and for many years until these events occurred.
Very good, John. It seems that the figure seems quite high, John. 6,666 in Ireland alone.
Correct. It is quite high, and it shows that 666. The 6,666. What a figure! What a figure to put the fruits of anyone. That kind of a number. No. The funny thing is, those people, those ladies that were pregnant with this jewel of a baby that deserved to be born, now has been with the legal protection of this state, voted on by the people. Those lives now are not sacred, what they should be. Now, these women that had these abortions in this country, what help is going to be for them when they eventually realise the dreadful thing that they have done? The pain that those babies suffered as they were aborted by foul means. They feel pain the same as adults feel pain. And we can see the steps that they're going with this virus to protect life, whereas not a word about the poor lives of these babies that have been aborted by the mothers, killed by the mothers, with the connivance of the state. Now, when they realise the enormity of what they have done to their potential babies and children, who's going to help them? Is these people that carry out the birth, can they go there and get spiritual advice? I doubt it very much. I doubt it. So where are they going to get it when they realise and have such sorrow for what they've done? They probably have to go to if they're Catholics, to go to try and seek help, and the only way they'll get it is to repent. That is the only way that they'll ever succeed in trying to deal with this issue, to repent. And if they're Catholics, to go to confession and repent, but they will never forget what they've done. The same as if you do evil or if you do something of that caliber, you will never forget it. So they have that on their conscience, God help them. So they're not going to get it from the people that inflicted this, because the doctors that carry out this and the places where these things happen, they would be in some ways extermination camps. For example, when I was thinking about this and trying to sort of equate it with something that is evil and that has had the force of the law, funny enough, I was thinking about Auschwitz, the concentration camp, extermination camp in that the Germans established, many of them, but that was one that was particularly notorious because of the number of deaths of the Jewish people and Catholics, and a third of the Catholic priests from Poland exterminated. Now, as people went to those camps, there was a sign over the entrance in big letters in the language, in different languages, and what was over the entrance was, "Work will set you free." Now, that was, of course, a false analogy, and I believe in Auschwitz there was an orchestra comprised of unfortunate Jewish musicians, talented people, because a lot of talented people were exterminated in that camp. Welcoming these people coming in. Now, you can just visualize men, women and children, talented people and ordinary people coming in, work will set you free. For some reason or another, they didn't think that it was possible for any state to inflict such evil on society. It was made legal in Germany to exterminate Jewish people. So the people that carried out this in these concentration stroke extermination camps were obeying the law. That was the law. I think most civilized people throughout the world recognize it for the evil for which it is. Just translate that to the sort of evil of abortion. There's no point in saying it's good. It's evil. It's wrong. Imagine over the entrances to these concentrated, we call them extermination sites. Abortion, stroke, killing your baby will set you free. Can you see the evil of such a slogan? So when these poor ladies in this country and indeed throughout the world reflect on what they've done, the fact that they're not being told it, and the fact that in some ways the Christian religions and the Catholic faith as well is not speaking out boldly about this matter and giving them some recourse to sort of save their souls and to save their sanity, because it leaves an awful lot of affliction, not on those poor ladies that have these potential mothers. It leaves an awful mark. So all I can say is that there are some people doing great effort to try and redress this problem and address it in a way to show the sort of onset of this evil. According to a priest, a marvelous priest that is on the internet, and it's under the not the pro-life, some crowd like that, Life Institute. And he has the 6 stages of this abortion, the killing of the innocents, and he describes it from in various 6 stages. And the stage that is at now is that pro-life people are being prevented, and by the law, to try and deal with the poor people that's going for these abortions, especially going for abortions in what was formerly where children were born in maternity clinics. So there's a section of that reserved for this extermination of babies. Can you visualize the horror of it?
Absolutely. So what you're saying really, I suppose, as well, is that in future we're going to have women with severe mental health problems. I mean, the figures seem so high that I don't think the Irish mental health services could cope with that many people if they had mental health problems.
Well, you see, this is it, and of course they couldn't, and no psychiatrist would be able to help them either. The only one that can help them, believe it or not, is the spiritual solution. That means confession for those that are Catholics. For other ones that have no faith, they need to seek something by way of forgiveness from some person. They're not going to get it from the people that carried out these abortions, because those poor devils are lost and they need to repent. That is the only solution for people that inflict such evil, is to repent, and in the case of politicians and media, to repent publicly and not just privately, because they have done what they've done, and so they have it on their conscience. It behoves in this country and I think throughout the world. But there are certain priests speaking about it. But it behaves the hierarchy. Those in charge, the centre, reflecting the apostles, the bishops and that. It needs to speak out about these and to speak out the importance of people that have had this tragedy in their lives, the opportunity to repent and the need to repent to save their souls. So society, if it condones such evil, it's going to pay an awful price. And I think this virus that has afflicted mankind is a kind of a little example of it. And in this country, there might be worse to happen, because we see the effect of what this virus has had on society. And they're concentrating on saving themselves because it is dangerous for us. But not a word about all these babies that have been killed before they have a chance of being born and suffered in pain the same as an adult. So these are matters that we have to think about. But there is a solution, and that is for another referendum to give the people in this country that have a chance of voting again for the case to be put properly and not to be kind of fooled into voting for such evil. And so I'll just mention one item just finally about this, that the famous broadcaster, radio and TV, that was resulted in thousands of people being converted, and that is the famous Archbishop Fulton John Sheen, and who can be seen on if you look up YouTube and that kind of thing. But one thing he said about this, and there was a great evil, but he said a prayer, which I say daily, of course, and it's this, and it says, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, I love you very much. I beg you to spare the life of the unborn child that I've spiritually adopted and consecrated to the Baptist heart of Mary, whose days are apart. Every time I say it, I shed a tear because of the tragedy. So there are people doing the very same as I'm doing, and I shed a tear when I think of the poor suffering babies.
Okay, John. Well, thank you very much for sharing that with us, and it's a serious tragedy. So many children dying every year.
Of course, and I hope people that are able to listen to all we have to say, and others of like mind will reflect on this, and at least try to repent for what they've inflicted and what the people have voted for in this country. It's a terrible tragedy, without a shadow of a doubt, and nothing good will come from it, believe it or not.
Thank you very much, John.
Thanks, Oliver. Thank you.